So, today's topic, how people tend to, for some reason, think that I'm dumb, and how triggering that is and problematic. And it has teach me, it has taught me so much about being careful when evaluating people. So yeah, let's get into it. So I know the title for now, it's a bit crooked and weird and convoluted. But the thing is, how people have been poor, poor evaluators or how had poor judgment when it comes to people judgment, how terribly they misjudged me and misunderstood me throughout the time has taught me a lot about arrogance and being mindful not to think of yourself as better than anyone else, but more importantly, on how that perception, self-perception of greatness and the the misperception that the other one is dumber than it actually is has taught me that I should never take things for granted when it comes to people. So I do, when I see someone, you know, and I know someone, I do make a judgment of personality and everything. Everyone does that. It is a part of our human nature. However, even when the person seems to the normal people, seems stupid in appearance, I tend to be really careful to evaluate someone as such, mostly because I have learned from my own experience that people tend to look down on me quite often. And it's not like, oh no, Victoria, that's not the truth. It's just, you know, you're just, you're not understanding. It's just, people, it's not like they're misjudging you still, they're not mean-spirited. Well, the thing is, some people are mean-spirited, some others are not, that is the truth. But in my experience, a humongous amount of people tend to look at me and they assume that I'm not the sharpest tool in the shed. Some people will have a very naive approach about it and they will not try to abuse me and they will be like condescending in a very positive way, like, you don't understand, they will be patronizing and just like, yeah, they're their child, they're their child. That's a positive one. My mom's sometimes guilty of that one. She's like, you don't understand, you don't know any better, I know better, you should do this and this and that. I'm like, Mom, I have proved to you throughout the years that I have some brain cells. If I'm doing this, it's because I think it's for the best. But that's the thing, she's doing that because she's trying to help me. You know what I mean? She's trying to she's doing it in a positive manner. Unfortunately, the same attitude sometimes can have positive aspects and negative aspects. The negative ones is when people try to abuse someone dumber. And that's something I usually remain quiet about at the beginning. When I see that attitude, I'm like, careful. I'm not going to jump into conclusions. Let's see how this rolls out. Let's see how this evolves or devolves. And unfortunately, people have proved me that the first impression is usually the correct one. People will not only assume I'm stupid, but they will also assume that my silence, it's further proof of my stupidity. And they abuse and abuse and abuse, and I'm just like, like this, and I'm like trying to process through the motions. And people tend to assume that I'm stupid. So much so that it might be a flaw of my character. Some of my friends say all the time, you should stand for yourself. You should, speak for yourself and do this and that. Like, I don't like to be reactive. I'm the kind of people who likes to be active, but not reactive. So when an abuse is happening, I'm like frozen at the beginning, and then I think, and then I think. And the person who's being abusive in a way, especially verbally, I just let them talk and talk and talk. And people take such behavior like I'm being dumb or like I'm being a pushover. But the reality is, for what I have experienced, it takes a great strength, inner strength, not to send someone to bug off when they're abusing you, when they're blatantly being abusive. And you can observe something's incredibly wrong and you just let them talk. And the more you let them talk, the worse it gets. And so it allows me when I have to take action and I finally take action, then people tend to think I'm very drastic. Because if I say no and I will never see you again, I literally don't. I literally don't, and I will never see you again, and I will not give a damn about you. When I when I put the boundary, it's forever, and it's terminal, and it seems like rushed, and it seems like where this came from, but the point is, it's the accumulation and observation of multiple instances in which I allowed you to behave in a manner that was improper just to see what you would do. And some people go back to their senses and they behave in a sensible manner and they cease the abuse, and some others are just further and further into it. The further you go into it, the worse it's going to get at the end of it. So it has happened to me mostly with bullies and abusers that were mostly superiors, like in the chain of command, and they're my boss or something. And I see something, and then another thing, and then another thing, and then another thing, also in politics. And then I see this, and they say this, and they say this, and they say this. And when I have to take the final decision, I just accumulate all of the evidence, and I'm saying, okay, the decision is taken. I will never speak again with this individual. I will walk away, and I will not take part in anything. May God help them, because I will not give a flying fuck about them. And divine justice will handle this individual, because they're just like, they're not worthy of my time anymore. And I usually take that decision after a lot of pondering and a huge amount of evaluating the individual and what they say and what they do not say. And people, they talk and talk and talk, and they bury themselves so deep in the mud. So when I come to the final conclusions, I can be confident of never talking to them anymore. Not because I like to be cruel with anyone or dismissive or anything like that, but because I have seen enough, I have heard enough, I have reached to the conclusion, the firm conclusion, forever conclusion, that you're not worthy of my time. And you have proved yourself unworthy of it, my time and energy, because you have done enough, you have said enough, and I'm not just going to hang around that kind of folk, that kind of individual. Just no. Sure. Now, that might be like little bit, you know, counterintuitive what this has to do with anything of it. The thing is, I have seen a humongous amount of people take such attitude as a sign of stupidity. And I can tell that people treat me and behave like I'm dumb, like really dumb. And that has led me to the conclusion that no matter how an individual may seem, you know, like not good enough or stupid or something like that, one should always realize that unfortunately appearances might be deceiving, or at least from our narrow-minded perspective and our experience in observing people, such conclusions might be wrong, and that oftentimes the people that tend to be underestimated, and I have observed, people tend to think, oh, they're dumb. When you actually talk to them and you take them seriously, they tend to be the smartest people I have met. They're worthy of most of my respect. So, unironically, the way that some people have behaved in my life has led me to believe that I myself should be the most humble version I can afford to be to myself, and always remember that no matter how much I observe other people, how much of a good judge of a character I can be, I should always be mindful that many times some people have believed that they knew better, that they knew what kind of individual I was, and they completely misjudged my character. So there's always a good reminder to both know that just because I think I know better, just because I think I know that that individual is just dumb or good, appearances can be deceiving. So who seems good may not be good. Who seems bad may not be entirely bad. Who seems smart may not be smart. And who seems dumb to my eyes may not be dumb. I may just be on my narrow-minded perspective, badly observing, which is a form also, it can be dangerous because it can also lead to a gaslighting of myself. But the reality is, more often than not, I'm correct when observing people, but I always leave the door open to be wrong, to be proved wrong. So I always leave the door open to believe, you know, I was wrong, you were correct. That person is actually smarter than it looks. I think when you're observing people, it's one of the greatest skills you could ever harvest in life. It's really crucial to leave the door open to be proven wrong, because not to do so will lead to a level of arrogance that will lead you eventually to be proven wrong. So, yeah, I think that's enough for today, or at least this video, because I'm going to record more, because unfortunately I will not be able to record in a while from now anymore, or at least here, and I will be rather busy. So I want to just record as much as my heart desires now. So I will be recording multiple videos today before things get complicated. Yeah, at least more than they already are. Yeah, I hope you have liked it, you find it enjoyable, or at least enlightening, or at least not a waste of your time. And until next time, I wish you nothing more but the best, and I really hope people are not misjudging your character. Until next time, stay safe and bye bye.